Hi, and thanks for coming in today. I got some cool stuff going on. I didn't really intend to put this on YouTube until I thought, hey, I should put this on YouTube. This is kind of a unique build that I have going here. You can see the tubes over here behind me. You'll notice that they're wing shaped. This is a aero tube track bike we're working on. And it's pretty interesting. We're making the dropouts for it. Styled after Tiermeyer dropouts, and the tubes are vintage Cannondale. So we're going to talk a little more about this and look at some pictures. And this is going to probably take a few weeks time to go through, but maybe we'll have a chance to put a few minutes together now and then and keep you posted. Okay, hopefully I got this thing aimed right and ends up working out. Anyways, these tubes, that's quite a profile. I think there's a limit to what they call aspect ratio of these tubes. There's a limit, the height and width in comparison to each other. Maybe it's 3 to 1 or something like that. I'm not quite sure. But these were drawn by a guy in Connecticut who made the tubes for Cannondale. And I was lucky enough to get probably 5 or 6 of these tubes. And I built 2 track bikes. I sure enjoy doing them, but it's not my field of expertise. The top tube we have for this is also pretty special. I don't know if you can tell, but this thing is tapered. So the down tube is straight gauge, 60-61, and the top tube is butted and tapered. And I'm going to go over to the measuring device over there, and we can look at the butting profile and see what it is, and locate the transitions just to make sure I don't cut it off in the wrong place. The head tube is some that I had made here locally. It's tapered with a 44 and a 55 bearing platforms in here. I'm going to cut big holes in it for the water to flow through when it gets heat treated, and it'll be cut down to the length that's specified by the customer. This piece of material is also out of the same batch. We've just finished notching this out and for the tire and welding it up. We mitered it for the bottom bracket, notched it for the tire, and this is going to be a full-length mast with a topper. I found a set of aero seat stays at Fairing out in Chino, California, and I have these chain stays. I'm not sure where I got these. I think these are new old stock from Santa Cruz. Somebody sent them to me, got a big box of them. I have a lot of tubing on the shelf there that's left over from this and that. The bottom bracket shell is also from Fairing. This is a cool barrel-shaped tube. I did something kind of neat on this down tube. I unovalized it here to shroud a little bit more of the bottom bracket shell from the wind. It adds up to a very small increment, but cycling is about small increments. This is a Tiermeyer chainstay and dropout that was sent to me years ago for me to record the information off it. I actually spoke to the gentleman on track bikes and built quite a few of them, and then when he retired, I called him up and asked him if it was okay if I ripped off his geometry and started making the inserts for these things, if there was a market for them, and he said sure, no problem, and gave me permission to use a design for my dropouts of my bikes in the rare occasion that I make one. So far, these are what I have going so far. I just repeated myself there, didn't I? They're the same on the left and the right side, and both sides of the dropout are the same, so they're a mirror image. And I've first machined the profile, put the slot in there. You can see that there's an interesting way of assembling these things. You put the dropout into this slot. The dropout is actually thicker than the slot, and it's relieved to fit in there, and then chainring bolts go through to hold this together. And what I'm going to do now is use these soft jaws that go in the vise, and I'm going to machine recesses in the top of these things to fit these dropouts into so I can machine the other side of them. These take days to make. If you wonder why custom bicycles cost a lot, between drawing it, machining it, making a temporary tool for it, I'll probably have 3 days into these things. Proceed into making this. I'll get a couple shots of this and we'll move on. Thanks. Alright, what we're going to do over here is we have a device that we have set up that measures the wall thickness of the tube. What I'm going to do is locate the transitions and figure out what the wall thickness is here. In case this is, if it's double butted, I don't want to go into the thin section with my cut, so we're going to take a look and see. I haven't even measured the wall, so I don't know what it is, but it's a pretty light tube. Alright, so it's 40,000, so it's roughly 1 millimeter thick at that end and 35 millimeters in diameter. And we're going all the way down the wall, all the way down the length, and it's 40 for most of its length. It's 1 millimeter thick, so let's try the other end. Oh, look at that, it's 0.65, which is 1.6 millimeters, I believe. And here it is. Once it gets into the taper, it starts dropping back down to 1 millimeter. I'll tell you, the guy did a good job making these things. Excuse me, Jackson.
Yeah.
Do we have a few words with you about that crazy looking aero C-tube with the tire cut out? Did you do that, all that welding and grinding yourself?
I sure didn't.
Yes, he did. He welded it.
Oh, you're talking about that thing?
Yeah, he did this. Not the thing he's working on in his hand. I'm talking about this great aero C-tube right here.
You want to do a retake?
Hmm?
You want to do a retake?
Yeah, sure. We're going to do a retake. He should be the famous welder at Frank Welder.
Coming soon.
Yeah, we'll have a what do they call that? An unfolding, a reveal that all the welds that Jackson does here that I get credit for. Including this beautiful thing which you saw a moment ago. Isn't that something? All right. So this is what we're working with today. I think I showed you some pictures of this. We got it all cleaned up and ready to start tacking. So Jackson's going to take us through that. checkerboard. It's winning.